Here are three rookies who will bust in 2025 fantasy football leagues. Treveyon Henderson, New England Patriots. Yes, we love Treveyon Henderson. Second-round draft pick, great player at Ohio State. Split the backfield, Quinshon Judkins there. We already began hearing, though, in early offseason reports from the Patriots, it was unknown whether Henderson could be a bell cow back and maybe just a good third down back. He's 205 pounds. Size-wise, he does not really profile to be that heavy-duty running back. And the other problem is this: despite the draft capital, Ramondre Stevenson is in the second year of a 4-year deal paying him starter money. And I know Stevenson has some issues with fumbles, and that could change the equation if it becomes more of a problem. But that said, Stevenson weighs about 227 pounds. Again, Henderson's 205. This looks like that classic case. Stevenson's the grinder back, probably the goal line back. Henderson's the change of pace guy. Henderson is going to catch some passes, and that all works out. But remember, this New England offensive line is still a work in progress. It won't be as bad as the line they had last year. They've made investments in that line, but it's far from a finished product. And this offense, we make a lot of comments saying how New England's offense is ready to take a big step forward. Not so fast. This offense has a lot of limitations, and there will be growing pains. So Henderson, in probably what is a lower scoring offense in a secondary role, is not going to be worth that ADP where you're getting him in right around running back 20. He's probably better cast about running back 28 or 30, and this is way too rich of a cost. So if you draft him at cost, he's probably going to be a bust for your fantasy team. Next, Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers, first-round draft pick in the NFL draft. He's going outside the top 45 wide receivers, so he doesn't have a high draft cost. But even at that cost, there's a lot of concerns about Matthew Golden, not because of his talent or lack of it. We know he has blazing speed. He ran that 100th percentile combine 40-yard dash. Now, on tape in college, he didn't look like he was quite that fast, so maybe he just had a great combine. But still, that said, when he comes into Green Bay, you have to assume they drafted him to be a deep threat to kind of take over for Christian Watson, who was hurt with a serious knee injury. Well, Jordan Love is a good quarterback, but the weakness in his game is downfield passing. He's not very accurate. And if Matthew Golden's going to be put into a deep passing role, that's a problem. And remember this also. Last year, the first half of the season, Jordan Love was attempting 34 passes a game. That's plenty to go around for multiple receivers. But in the second half last year, Green Bay became more of a run-based offense, and Jordan Love was throwing 24 times a game, 10 less. Well, guess what? That's not a lot of pass attempts. And you already have Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, maybe Savion Williams. You have Tucker Kraft. You're going to get some passes thrown to your running backs. So Matthew Golden, A, may not have a lot of targets, and B, if he's the downfield threat for a quarterback that's not good on downfield passing, guess what? Matthew Golden is not in a very good situation for fantasy football. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second, hit like and subscribe. It helps RotoWire keep that fantasy advice coming your way. And if you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You head to rotowire.com, you choose that subscription, and you use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, last one. People aren't going to like this one. Tetairoa McMillan, Carolina Panthers. Another player who I think has potential in time to be a star in the NFL. He just landed, in my mind, with the wrong quarterback. And I know everybody liked Bryce Young second half last season. Oh, he's not a bust anymore. Oh, he keeps the team competitive. Slow down. Bryce Young, in 4 of his last 5 games, struggled to reach 200 passing yards. For fantasy, Bryce Young ran, and that made him a good fantasy quarterback down the stretch. He was not an accomplished passer. And you could say, well, who did he have? Adam Thielen, Xavier Leggett. I get it. But Bryce Young has a lot of limitations as a passer. Middle of the field is problematic. Under pressure, problematic. We knew coming into the league that he'd have to be an outlier at his size to be a really functional quarterback. And I've seen nothing to indicate that's going to happen. And I do have to think we're going to see even regression from last year. But even that said, it's not like every pass Young throws is going to go to Tetairoa McMillan. Adam Thielen has a good connection with Young. Leggett's going to get some work. The tight end, Jatavian Sanders, will get some work. They throw to their running backs. All that said, McMillan is being drafted as a wide receiver 2 in 12-team leagues, and that's aggressive for a passing attack that, again, is probably going to have too many weeks where they're throwing for 170, 175 yards. That just is not to get it done in fantasy football, and it will not get it done for Tet McMillan as a rookie, but take hope. Maybe in 2026, that offense will be better, and maybe they'll have a better quarterback.